So today is July 30th, and it's the day after a meeting that I had with a neurosurgeon here at Lehigh Valley Health Network in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I have dealt with some back pain that has gradually intensified over the last several years, and kind of came to a point where I figured I have to do something serious about it because it's been affecting my quality of life, and at this point it's been affecting my relationships with my family and even with friends, just in terms of my inability to do some of the things that I used to be able to do. So I've gone through a series of tests over the years and a series of therapies and treatments. Um, Ultimately, what's happened here is that I have a degenerative disc between the L4, L5 vertebrae. And part of that is due to heredity. My family has a history of disc degeneration as well as spinal stenosis, and my grandfather and my grandmother both have dealt with some back issues through their lives. So it's like one of my doctors says, it's kind of like if you have brown eyes, you get them from your grandparents. If you have a bad back, it's because you get it from your grandparents or your parents or whoever. So I just happen to be the lucky one to have the degenerative disc issue. Fortunately, it is only right now in one area, and the L4, L5 is kind of in the lower back here. And I think a lot of the reason why it has already degenerated at my age, I'm 35, which is very atypical. Usually degeneration doesn't really kick in until, your mid-50s into your 60s. But this is severe. There's really kind of just like a sliver of a disc left there, and what's left is actually pushing out into the nerves and causing the pain. So I've had two boys. One was born in 2002. He's now 9, and he was just under 10 pounds. And then my second, who was born in 2007 and is 4 now, he was 10.5 pounds and 23 inches. So for me, that's a big baby. I'm 5'5", and at that time I was about 120 pounds. I have gained weight since then because of my inability to do as much as I used to do, and that's another issue that I'm having right now, is that I'm much heavier than I've ever been, and unable to really kind of do the things that I want to do to stay fit. Just a little history. My husband and I were very active outdoors people, and he still is and continues to do a lot of things with the boys, but again, I'm not able. So I find myself sitting home while they go out for these 3 or 4 mile hikes or bike rides, and it's becoming frustrating for me because they're getting older and they're having all these fun times together, and I'm missing out. So that's kind of what my doctor said. He said when you get to a point in your life where you feel like it's really affecting who you are, your relationships, and your lifestyle, that's when you know it's time to do something about it. And so I'm at that point. And like I said, it's July 30th. I've scheduled the surgery for December 27th. And so I'm starting a video series just to kind of track my feelings through this process. And, it'll be interesting to look back after the fact and kind of watch how my emotions have played out. At this time, I'm extremely nervous. I have had 2 surgeries, 2 C-sections. So those were kind of basic, cookie cutter, simple things. This, for some reason, is really freaking me out because the whole surgery on the back thing, it's your core, it's what keeps you going. So I'm a little nervous about it. I have full faith in my doctor. He's fantastic. He's one of the best in our area. I feel really lucky to have him doing it, but I'm still nervous. Just the thought of surgery makes me kind of freaked out. So I'm hoping that, over the next 6 months while we approach the date, I can keep calm and know that it is for the best in the long run. What he's going to be doing is, let me see here, the exact terminology. There's several phases to the surgery. One is a laminectomy, and then he will be doing a bilateral pedicle screw fixation. So it's basically a fusion. He's taking the little wing bone off the back of the vertebrae, and he's going to crush that up, he said, and use that inside the cage that will be used as the spacer once they take the disc out. The spacer will go in between the L4, L5 vertebrae, and he said it's kind of like a little Lego, And so they'll fill around that with these cells of the crushed bone so that it will regenerate and create a fused bone. And then the pins and screws are going to, brace that. So it's fortunately only a one-level fusion, so it's just that L4, L5. Pretty straightforward, he said. And I'll be in the hospital for several days. And the operation itself, he said, should take about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes if all goes well. He's hoping to make it very non-invasive by doing an incision that's only maybe about, I think he said about 3 inches. So it's pretty amazing really what they can do, and I'm just hopeful that it works. Some of the treatments that I've gone through, I started several years ago. It was right after my second son was born. I had the pain. I was having sciatica pain down through my right side, down into my calf and the right side of my foot. So I was using muscle relaxers and anti-inflammatories for a while. I lived on a leave for a long time. And that did, it was kind of a band-aid, but as the years have progressed, it's gotten worse. And I know it's not even safe to be taking a leave for a long-term period. So I've tried chiropractic, I've tried injections, I've tried physical therapy, I've tried massage, but when that disc is gone, there's just really not a whole lot they can do to eliminate the pain. So, and actually the injection, just for anybody who's thinking about doing that, sometimes it works for people. In my case, it didn't work at all. Actually, it made it worse. It was very painful when they did it to me. They actually, injected right into the spine there and put the cortisone shot, and it did nothing at all but agitate it. And so I never went back for a second shot. And that's kind of where I'm at. So just to kind of sum things up here, this is the first in a series of videos that I'll try to keep up with as I go through my emotional, journey here up to the surgery, which again is 6 months away. So I have some time through the end of summer and the fall and early winter to, get things prepared to be out of commission, because when you have 2 kids, it's not so easy to lay on the sofa for 4 weeks. But that's what the doctor said. He said it'll be 3 days in the hospital, and then like 4 weeks or so of, how would he put it, intense pain. Great. But he did assure me that the pain, the pain medicines are pretty good, and it should be okay. It shouldn't be intolerable. And then after that time frame, I guess that month after the surgery, they really need that bone to fuse and kind of regenerate the bone growth. And then after that time, you go into physical therapy for about 6 to 8 weeks. And he said by next summer, which is a year from now, should be kind of back to the old self, what I used to be doing, which was hiking and backpacking. And although he did say I couldn't ever carry a 50-pound pack again, but that's okay. My husband and boys are there for me to do that. So that's it. Just hoping that this is the right decision, and it's a little scary because watching some of these other videos is not always encouraging. So I'm hoping that this video series can be one of the more encouraging ones for everybody who is contemplating the same kind of surgery. So if anybody has done it and has comments for me, I would appreciate any advice and any suggestions that you might have going into this whole thing. All right, I guess that's it for now. Signing off. Till next time.